Okay. Testing 1 2 1 2. Uh, the Kriol trilogy. If you have not read that, interesting read. Greetings in the name of all that is good. I am G. Michael Reed. Welcome to our weekly podcast. We do this every Thursday evening, 7 Belize time. I believe it's about 9 on the East Coast and 6 on the West Coast. We're experiencing chilly weather. I notice the same wherever you are because there seems to be a global chill actually. We feel for those who are without warm gear, no heat, some without food, and in particular, we think about our fellow human beings that are suffering. Winter is also out there in the Middle East, and those poor folks in Palestine taking a licking while the bombs keep dropping, despite a much heralded ceasefire. We have to keep speaking out about these people. They are human beings just like we are. There's no special treatment for anybody, there's no chosen people. All of us are sons of God according to the Bible, the very Bible that they point to and suggest that we should be honoring one people above others. No, sir. Everybody created by the same maker. Male and female, he created them. That is the only separation, the only division, if you will. And those two parts were supposed to be working complementary to each other. Let's try to get on track here. All right. We're expecting tonight. Look at this. Man, I and last week was so wonderful. Something about last week. J.A. Spooner back in the house. What's up,
Yes.
Spooner?
Private citizen Jeremy Spooner. I was reminded by Stuart Leslie when I bumped into him on Thursday that he said, "Private citizen Spooner."
You
So-
met him at the protest, I believe.
No, I didn't go to the protest. I was at the changing of the guard at the BDF. I was invited to go.
Oh, BDF Day. But it was
Yes,
Saturday,
and
wasn't
then it
it?
was
Yeah.
a beautiful reception at the Grand Resort. Food galore and drink galore, but being diabetic, I couldn't partake like I would have liked to.
Why? I may have to eat anyway. Free thing too? I mean, free?
Eating, yes, man, and good service.
Yeah, no,
Drink from like you order and drink, and less than 5 minutes you get your drink in your hand. Whiskey, that top brand, everything. It was a very good show, and I got to meet the Prime Minister. I hadn't seen him in like 8 years or whatever. He never recognized me at first, So
was Joe there? Did you see Joe?
Joe Cowie. No, I don't think they invite him anymore to anything.
Yeah, you're right. Me and him up on blacklist. I don't know.
Yeah,
why
well, because they associate with you and me, you see.
it could
Oh,
be.
The way how Dr. Spooner articulated, it reminds me of the aristocrats in the French Revolution, where whenever they begin to show discontent, they give them cake to calm them down.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. You got it, Spooner. Because they know now that they're afraid for another ACB. The alphabets, boy, will get you one way or the other.
Yes, boy. Good
Guys, we're joined tonight by a special guest. This gentleman has been with us before and was very impressed with his take on matters, and we're honored to have him again in our presence, Mr. Bill Guerrero Flores. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, and thanks for the invite.
Anytime.
Sounds like this is going to be an interesting day because your intro, G. Mike, was on point, talking about what's going on in the world, and I appreciate the report from the private citizen from that event that he attended, and I'm glad to hear about the efficiency of how it was handled. The only thing I can hope now is that the Prime Minister took notice and noticed the efficiency, because that's what we need from him.
Well, the changing of the guard, correct? A new commandant, is it?
The new commandant, yeah.
Yeah.
G. Mike, I was very impressed everything was in unison. Is that the correct word? That when the guys they paraded, all the feet were together, all the arms were together, and they had like 5 different squads, there, and they're all in unison. Sometimes I have problems pronouncing words, but they were in unison. They did everything.
I think the word is unison.
Trump,
Okay.
Trump gets like that sometimes. Remember the Tylenol kind of thing? They goofed on.
I always have this problem with pronouncing certain words, but very impressive. They look very good. Some of them need to exercise a bit, so they got leap pot belly and so on. But other than that, very professional performance.
Yeah, I always wonder why military people and police, because some of them not got leap at belly, some of them good size belly. And I wonder how they get to that point. Look, there are many people who are not in the military, not in kind of institutions, but keep themselves in shape, so that what? Eating habits, health problems, or what?
Just
I think
eating
it's
more.
cultural.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Joe?
I think it's cultural. But I think it's a culture that insidiously crept in, I would say, in the 60s, 70s. And of course, this time to have sedentary lifestyle, given the so-called modernity. Most people now are not really physically active in a job. Some became so, I don't want to say lazy, but thought that efficiency was be able to sit at a desk, don't have to get up to go to the cabinet, have everything right around them. They thought that was efficiency. They didn't realize that that sedentary lifestyle was detrimental to them.
Not healthy at all.
No, the best lifestyle, of course, has to bring in exercise,
You have to. You have to.
good rest, good food, happiness. 'Cause those are the ingredients for a healthy lifestyle.
Showing at
So
least sexy showing at
the
least
lack of
sexy in somewhere,
exercise,
right?
yeah, the lack of exercise can be very damaging.
Yeah.
Plus, lot of fries and fried chicken too, which is if you eat that every day, and which I believe a lot of people do because it's cheap, that's not very healthy too. I tend not to eat a lot of fried chicken. Very rare I eat that.
Do you exercise, Bill?
Yeah, I do a golf, go walking.
All right, I think your mic up. I will leave that. Meet, are you ready? And then I meet. Did you?
Yeah, you can hear me though, right?
I
I
can
hear
hear
you.
you now.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Just now, you get muffled.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying, yeah, I do play a lot of golf, and I go walking sometimes.
Okay.
So I try to stay active, and I guess I have the same problem most people do, except the people who have control uh, over the food. So I figure every time I eat something I shouldn't eat, I say, well, okay, I'll walk an extra half a mile. So that's how I justify it to myself.
Compensate. Yeah.
Yeah, and even though I've been told that that's not how it works, but if you believe something, you know what? It works.
If you believe it.
Yeah, because I believe it.
Interesting. Yeah. Tell us a little about Bill. Bill Guerrero Flores. You live in the United
Yes,
States, correct?
I live in Los Angeles. I'm from Dangriga, educated in Belize. I was in the last graduating class from Lynham Agricultural College. Then I
Mhm.
migrated. I migrated to the U.S. Well, not well. After graduation from Lynham, I went to a special program in Central Farm, run by Godsman Ellis, where he was training us to be farm demonstrators.
Okay.
And around that same time, the offer came to me to come to the United States. And like a cop out, I did come because I also the opportunity was also open, and I wanted it to go to UWI. But the appeal of the United States was so
Strong.
overwhelming.
He's strong. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so overwhelming. So when I came, I got here, enrolled in school, and realized that I couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
And someone told me, if you join the military, they pay for your education. So I joined the U.S. Marines, spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, stationed in Washington, D.C., stood duty at the White House. So after I got discharged, I went to college, got my degrees, and and I worked. So today I'm retired, and well, in some fashion, because I'm always busy, because I am the director of the only Garifuna museum in the United States.
Interesting.
That's located here in Los Angeles, and we have affiliations with some Latino museums, with several universities in the area, like, for example, Cal State Dominguez Hills, Cal State Los Angeles, UCLA, Cal State Irvine, Fullerton. So we have association with them, and occasionally I would go and do a lectures there, talking about Caribbean history, specifically Caribbean history. And today I'm retired, but I say I do those work, and I golf 3 days a week.
Interesting. Did you ever look back and second guess the move that you made, and wonder if maybe it was the right route, or are you pretty much satisfied with how things turned out?
I looked for many times.
There's something when you turn, Bill. When you turn a certain way, before you go on, let me introduce Gregory. Gregory is the other member of our panel. Gregory, good evening, welcome. Gregory. Yeah.
Hey,
all right, Bill. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah. So regrets I do have, because one of the reasons why, because the program I mentioned earlier, under the tutelage of one Godsman Ellis at Central Farm, also my roommate there was one Chiste Garcia.
Okay.
So when I mentioned that scholarships were available, or could it be made available to go to University of the West Indies, I came to the U.S. and he went to UWI. And everybody know Minister Garcia. He wound up being a minister.
Yeah, I remember him.
Government. So, and I often think about that. But then I came to the United States. I'm very well educated.
You did well. You did well for yourself, for sure.
Yeah, because I'm retired. Like I said, I've been married to the same woman for 50 years. And interestingly, I just want to make a comment on that, because my wife is Kriol. She's one of the Adolphus girls. And
Bernard Adolphus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's and you know, and when we talked about getting married and start to arrange, we start getting, you know, the comments people make about, oh no, I got if not a Creole can't get married because that doesn't work like that, then he'll never work. And you know, those kind of comments that was happening in the 70s. You know, so but and I often tell people that I didn't marry a Creole woman. I got married to the love of my life.
Okay. Who adjusted to whose culture?
I like that question. You know, we adjusted to both culture, because she is very active and did some work with the Creole culture, and I helped her in some of that research. And she also and she also helped me a lot researching and learning about my culture, because a lot of people, she's around my people so much that most people didn't. I just assumed she was Garifuna.
Did you teach your children Garifuna? Did you teach the language?
I attempted, because with her prodding too. She said, well, these kids got to learn Garifuna and Creole. So we try to use our languages in the house. But when it comes to Garifuna and Creole, when we would talk to the children in using either of those languages, they would answer us in the American English. And I would challenge, I said, well, why are you answering me in English? They said, well, Dad, you speak English. You know, but I didn't press. But I do have to say, with my grandchildren, they spent a lot of time with me, so they understand quite a bit. And I have one great grandson who today is 8 years old, and he speaks Garifuna.
Because I heard that was one regret with the Garifuna nation, the ones that live in Honduras and so on, they don't know the language, and Belize is the center of where the language is still spoken and used, you know, and a lot of people are learning from the Belize Garifuna. Have you heard
But
about
I have
that?
a friend, we in Belize, we in Dangriga always say, okay, the language may not be so um, prominent in Belize among us Garinago, but at least we have Honduras. So my friend from Honduras heard me and he said, Bill, say you're wrong. Most of our children are speaking Spanish. And it's funny how I felt so sad for him to say that, and even though we have the same issue in Belize. But it seemed to me like it was okay in Belize, but not in Honduras.
The grass seems always greener on the other side, doesn't it?
That's just what it is.
Yeah,
But but because of the inception of Punta Rock, the language have a brief resurgence,
mhm.
but then it's kind of stymied because the artists, they don't speak the language fluently either. So all they would do is one line in a song. The whole song is just one sentence in.
Over and over, repetitive.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so there's no substance to it. But the Garifuna music for Honduras is much more detailed.
I was getting ready to say the Garinagu nation lost an icon with Andy Palacio because he was singing a lot of his songs in Garifuna.
But
And,
even more than that, what we lost with Andy, we lost our best ambassador.
yes.
Because when Andy traveled the world, he knows how to talk about us. He knows how to explain us. He knows the history, and he's very articulate. So losing him was huge, insurmountable. You know,
Yeah, he was an amazing personality. I knew him well. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
What are some of the Joe? You were going to say something?
Well, I wanted to give credit to Andy. I knew him personally. We were friends. And I would like to also give credit to Joseph Palacio, Dr. Palacio.
Yes.
You see, I grew up in an era where I spent a lot of time in Toledo, in the town of PG, living there, because there was a time when I was second in command in Social Peak during the period of we, under the British, we subdivided the country into 6 districts for administrative purpose. So we used to have the district commissioner, DCs.
Right.
And the town in itself, I would say, kind of balanced out between the Garifuna with some mestizo and some what we call East Indians. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
But I must say this, and I hope the others are not hearing me. My best friends, my family friend, one named Nylon, looked after my children, just like if though their own. And my first child, when I went there, she was just about 2, 3 years old. And Nylon began to teach her Garifuna. So they were my close friends. I could have walked down the dark alley with them. So I can go and name you Mr. Zuniga. I can name you several. I used to go to Barranco for his birthday. And I remember one time when I arrived, and we shook hands and said, "How old are you?" He gave me his age. I think he was that about 670 at then. So I congratulated him. I said, "How are you?" He said, "Joe boy, let me tell you something. I am 70 years old." He said it's a short time to live, but a long time to suffer. It was so philosophical. So I have a great respect for those people. And I still live with the belief. One of the things I want to share to Mr. Guerrero, when it comes to language, it has a lot to do with where we are, in the sense that if you begin to disperse and you get into a community which is predominantly of a different language and culture, it's difficult for you to maintain what you have with a few. Many of us never gone to school to learn Spanish. But because maybe we were sent to live in an area where mostly Spanish people are, we learn Spanish.
Yeah.
So when Joseph Palacio wrote his book on the Renaissance of the Garifuna, I thought it was a well-written book, well-researched. And he was talking about Renaissance because he believed that they were losing their culture. And that is why he thought there was need to look to reinforce it and bring it back.
Yeah,
And
interesting your
Guerrero, nice meeting.
pronunciation.
I happen to know the Guerreros too. I don't know if that's well, Explorers is your title, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm. My mom is Guerrero. My father is Flores.
That's what
But
I said.
I was mostly raised Guerrero.
The
Interesting
other
your
Guerrero
pronunciation of that
one
word,
time
Joe.
audit. The other Guerrero was one time Auditor General.
Which one?
Guerrero. He was a
Yeah.
senior person. I think he had refused Auditor General for the country. I knew him well. He was a Guerrero, originally from Dangriga.
He was a Donger. He's my relative.
Yes. So what I found to I need to add to you, if you go back into Toledo, especially among where the mestizos, sorry, the Mayans, let's call them Mayans, whatever they are. You know who were teaching them? It was the Garifuna. You go to Cricketsaco, you go to Dolores, all of those areas, which was somewhat beyond the pale of civilization. You go there by foot, by horse, and by boat. We used to carry them by the boat, and then from there we walk. But among them, the Garifuna was the people who were teaching them, because the Garifuna was well noted for being teachers, educators. And their contribution to this country, and it's a historical fact I'm giving you, when you look at their numbers and you take their ratio, they contributed more than their ratio to education of us. Educated mestizos, Spanish, Creole, they did a lot of education. When we were at St. John's College, many of them remain my friends. Martinez, Arana, they were all friends, and they were damn good educators. So, Mr. Flores, you have something to be proud of.
I was getting ready. I was saying that your pronunciation of the word Renaissance as Renaissance. I always thought it was
Right.
Renaissance.
I am like my friend here, Dr. Spooners.
Oh,
You have problems with certain words, yeah.
But we know
Bill,
the meaning of it.
now I know it. I just thought the pronunciation was something, but maybe
No, it
I
is.
was
There's a
pronouncing
difference
it
in the
right.
pronunciation. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
French word.
Renaissance. Renaissance.
No,
Renaissance.
I always say Renaissance because I know about the Harlem Renaissance.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
That I
French
heard
word.
the Jews that I was just wondering if there was another pronunciation that I wasn't aware of.
But let me make a comment about what you just talked about, the educators. Garinago is educators, and that is true. And I want you to thank you for that update. But sometimes when I think about it, and it is a source of pride, but it's also a source of concern, because those men that you mentioned, all those men who went to these villages and teach, they were taken out of our community, thus depriving our community of that level of leadership. You know, see, because they took the best and the brightest and trained them to be teachers. Now, I just imagine if these men had stayed in the community, what could have developed? Because today we continue to have a void in leadership.
I don't know, Bill. I would take issue with that from the point that where the Garinago came to Belize as a part of Belize and became Belizean. So if you almost on balkanization type of thing, if you wanted to stay in your community, kind of like the Israeli situation out in the Middle East, that you become a part of. So if you're a part of Belize development, you're a part of the country, which I'm a bigger part than the individual little package that we have for our own different ethnic groups. No, just a thought there.
I would say too that there was some benefit positive in cross fertilization. I knew that the Garifuna who were going into those areas to teach, it was their teaching, I think, that many of them, same as Garif, the Mayans, eventually went to St. John's College during my time. And when they went back, they were beginning to teach the Garifunas. So I cite as a cross fertilization.
But
Where the Garifunas gave them the wonderful opportunity to get that education. And when they went back, they were beginning to teach.
Yeah,
But
Greg.
we also see that void. Bill, good to see you on here. We're always chatting on online.
Oh, you know Bill. You know Bill.
Yeah, we have spoken not in person, but we have
Yeah.
text and
Wonderful.
shared links before.
Yes.
Have you been to
But
the museum, Gregory?
no, I haven't. I wasn't aware of it. I'll visit it sometime. But Bill,
Wonderful.
your point is well made about them leaving the community, because what we see is a void in Garifuna community and leadership in terms of even having a Garifuna represent the people of Dangriga in the House of Representatives. And that seemed to have been an ongoing. We had a couple, I remember, but for the most part, it has always been someone other than Garifuna.
One
Yeah,
question.
and when we did have one, I remember for the first two terms that
Okay,
Minister
Bobby.
Rudy McCoy was in the government,
Yes.
he was the minister without portfolio.
How about Chester? Wasn't Chester
But
a minister?
yeah,
That is
Chester
why.
was a minister. Yeah, Chester was a minister. But I'm talking
Yeah.
back in the day when Rudy
Yeah. Yeah.
McCoy was a minister.
David
He didn't
McCoy.
have a portfolio. Now
He
let me
was
explain why that's important.
no, it was David McCoy.
That's important because if he had a portfolio, then he would have a bargaining chip. Like say another senator wants to submit a law or want to make a law, and he would come to him and say, "Well, you know what? Maybe you don't fully agree with what I'm doing, but I can use your help because I want to do this." And the next time your department wants something, I can pay you back.
Yeah.
He couldn't use that as a bargaining chip because he had no portfolio.
Yeah, that quid pro quo was taken away.
I would
But
like to
but
differ,
is
I would
it?
like to differ with you on that one, if you allow me to.
Well, let me get this clear first, Joe. Bill, is it Rudy or
David,
David?
David.
but it
Rudy,
was
Rudy,
also
Rudy.
David Rudy.
I'm talking Rudy.
Or
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
are they the same guy or not?
same guy, same guy.
No, no, it was Rudy or David.
No man,
It was
his name
Rudy.
was David Rudy McCoy. He
Oh,
was a
Okay,
David Rudy.
representative with
Oh,
Stone Creek. Yeah.
yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay, okay.
All right, but go ahead, Joe. You're saying something. You were taking issue on some matter.
So I'm saying to you that I happen to know David very well.
Yeah.
He had the ears of the then Prime Minister. He was very close to Mr. Price. He made an extremely good era representative. He and my mother-in-law were very close, and both of them were close to Mr. Price. And David helped and worked with her, and we were able to get electricity. We were able to get water. We were bringing telephone. We brought the post office. We opened the road. David, to me, made a great contribution as a new representative. Now, let's look on the other side of the so-called political divide. Russell Chester Garcia, in whose name a stadium is named in Dangriga. Russell was a brilliant man. He had a passion for agriculture. If you left to him, he would have planted a tree over the whole country. So one time, me and him was having a conversation at a meeting. I was then senator. So Dean Barrow, who was the then deputy party leader, came over and said, "Joe, he said, I want you to tell Russell more about how to govern." I said, "Dean, let me tell you something. What Russell can teach you, you are yet to learn." I said, because he's driving agriculture. And the world has proven where over 80-90% of everything we produce come from agriculture. I
Sure.
said, David, I said, what you have is a man in Russell who had a passion for agriculture, and he was great. Then you had the lady again, one of the first ladies, a Garifuna,
Sylvia.
Silver
Sylvia,
Flores.
high ranking. One time she was Speaker of the House.
Right.
And then you had Charlie Martinez, who was my classmate. Again, he was a member of the House of Representatives.
Charlie
And
Martin.
then you had Mr. Arzu, well respected. He was a senator. So I may differ with you in the sense that I can say this for sure, that they played a great role in our parliamentary system and in government.
So it wasn't just teachers actually, and I know a lot of them went into the police and the military.
That's right.
So, but again, I'm with you, Joe, that the cross culture of it has helped everybody
That's right.
by giving what we know. And I've said this, that one of the strengths that Belize has, that we have so many different ethnic groups, and each have their own specific survival skills that they can add to the survival of the entire nation. I would hope that we would one day put the ethnicity aside, put the skin color aside, and come together as one, and say, well, you know what, we need to build this country for all of our children coming up, and stop with the foolishness and the xenophobia and the racism, and again, that word I use it sparingly, but the discrimination, because let us not fool ourselves. There was a lot of discrimination, in particular when I was growing up, and we saw it everywhere.
That was very true.
But I think we've come a long way. We have further to go, and I hope we're on our way to getting there, really.
Well, all I could add to that, Mr. Chairman, is that colonialism really forced us to fight over the crops.
Oh yeah.
That was the essence of why that
Agreed.
separation was put in place.
But it
I
was
was gonna
because
ask-
the principle of the British to divide and conquer.
Well, if there was no division, there would be no need to divide and conquer. That's what I always say.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
that's right.
No. Explain that. Explain that. If there was no
advantage of the divide, you
Hold
take
on.
advantage of the
Hold on.
divide. It's a smart strategy. Everybody uses it.
You're not gonna get off
That's
that
smart
easy.
strategy.
That's my opinion. You know, convince me
You're
otherwise.
not gonna get off that
I
easy.
think it's very inhumane.
Buddha is presenting
Trying to put a
circular
brother against a
arguments. You
brother.
can't get out of it.
Yeah.
There wasn't discrimination there, and there wasn't division.
I'd rather
The
you,
British wouldn't take advantage of it.
I'd rather you just say sorry and move on. But
Well,
if you try to justify and explain
I'm
that,
not justifying. I'm
it's
just
not
saying that it
cutting
was
it.
there. They exploited it, just like
Of
in
course,
India. They
of
exploited
course,
it.
that is the problem. Yeah, but
Yes.
just
But
because
there was a division there, and they exploited it.
They created it and then they exploited it.
yes,
I don't
it
know
was
about
not
you.
there. It was
I
not
think
there.
it's natural for people to dislike other people. It's just a
Again, though,
natural thing.
you said that, and the last time when we were talking about racism, you suggested that as your reason why you think it occurred, which is our natural thing. Nature, no, I don't think nature has anything to do with that. I think we, as individuals, create that, and yes, it's an exploitation, and it's sad. I don't know. We can't go back. We can't turn back the hands of time.
No.
But certainly we could learn from that and move forward and realize that it is not in the best interest of anybody to continue fighting against each other, and one feeling they're superior to the other or have some kind of privilege over the other, when all of us are basically Belizeans. And I think that will be the key.
But I think we need to all agree, because I think it's a historical and current fact that racism is a social construct.
Of course.
That's what it is. And we need to deconstruct it.
Again, I think that the word racism or malaprism, if you will, it does on one race. So that discrimination, prejudice, call it what you want, ethical differences and whatnot. But there's one race, and when we look at one particular group as a race and identify them as a race, we basically say that, well, they are the genus. They're not the genus. They're just a part of one family of human beings.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. But I wanted to ask Bill something, and then we could go back to the topic again.
That way they have to sit down. I mean, I admire Bill's take on things. Go ahead.
Yeah, he had mentioned that they took out the best of the Garifuna in his community and sent them countrywide to teach and so on. Did they ever return back to their community and uplift their community? Or what happened to them? Or they just stayed out of the community?
They basically stayed out of the community.
Any reason why? Any reason why?
You know, that's the reason why I couldn't even speculate, because so many things come to mind.
Were the opportunities better for them outside, you think?
Oh, definitely. The opportunities
Okay.
were always better because the opportunities in the Stan Creek district were very, very limited.
So it'd be
And
like you going to America, leaving Belize and going to America because the opportunities for you were better there, correct?
yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. And you did a very smart thing. My daughter did the same thing. She joined the American military during the war with Iraq and in the Middle East. There, she was sent to Egypt, saw some action, but she came back, and they take good care of her, medical, college, pension, medical, everything. So it's a great opportunity. If anybody can join the American Army, and they take good care of you, like you were saying, and like my
Unless you
daughter was
die.
saying too.
Well, I'm
Sorry,
glad you said that because that's the reason why my lifestyle today is the way it is.
yeah,
Because I joined the military.
yeah.
You know, because everything I've accomplished it is attached to me joining the military.
Did you join
You know?
during the Vietnam War? Did you go see action
Yes,
in
yeah, yeah,
Vietnam?
yeah, Vietnam, yeah,
Okay,
right.
wow.
I'm a
Okay,
Vietnam era vet.
okay,
You know, and I have the diagnosis, the PTSD, the
okay,
stuff,
okay.
and
Quite a few Belizean young men went to Vietnam, didn't they?
yes,
A
quite a
couple
few,
died. A couple
and
died.
a few died, and a few died.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember one guy, Alcocer. I remember when his body came in.
yeah, yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
I couldn't want us to just pass too quickly over our sociological reality, if I could call it that. We had a thing in the world where we call brain drain. But before I look outside, let me look within. Imagine you get a break and you are living let's say, San Antonio. San Antonio is in the Tolosa district. It was one of the largest districts, predominantly Mayan. And you get a break and you went to SJC and you have a love for the science. And you eventually decided you're going to do civil engineering. Now, what is it that you are going back to San Antonio to do? So it's
What,
not a
what,
brain drain in the sense that there was something there for you. Because the minute you move in that direction, the environment that you will go back to will not make no sense. No,
depends though, Joe, because
no, it
I
depends.
Well, I can't fully agree with that.
right, right.
Well, let me
Uh,
finish. Let me just finish the thought, and then it's a point
okay,
that I
please.
like to debate. I like to debate it. Let me tell you why. And I'm coming back to Chiste. What we were saying at the time, that if we could encourage the children to pursue the kind of academic education that will benefit the community, it will be a benefit. Any society we want to develop, whether it's the modern thinking of development or the ancient, it's always that you know where you want to go and then you train your human resource to take you there. So if you are saying if agriculture must be the mainstay of this country and we're going to value add it and industrialize the country, then it was those people there we should have encouraged them to go into agriculture. When we shut down Lineham, that was a terrible mistake for this country. We should have never shut down Lineham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agriculture, yes, it's highly volatile as a commodity on the world market. But when you value add agriculture, that's your industrialization. So
All
to
right.
me,
Bill, you're disagreeing there for a reason. Uh, um, you got your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of forget. Yeah, I think. Wait a minute. Let me get.
We got what
Brain drain. We are
I'm
talking about
saying.
brain drain.
We're talking
You know,
about the brain drain, and I
Right, the
think
brain drain. Right.
this the same point that you're making about the Garinagu
Uh-huh.
leaving their home area and going out to the rest of the country is what happened when Belizeans left the home base and went to the United States. That was a serious brain drain too. But I think when you look at, there are two sides to that: what you can get from it and what you can bring back to the community. If you look more at what you can give to the community as what you can get by going back there, I think you'll see a bigger reason as to why you should go back as opposed to staying
Yes.
out there.
Yes. Yes.
So that's my point on that. No?
I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 72 years old,
I'm
and
71. Yeah.
I often think about what my generation contributed to the world, to society. And sadly, there's a lot of negatives that my generation contributed to the world. Like before my generation, there was no babysitter. Before my generation, there was no homes for older people. You know, these are the things happen within my generation. You know, like it's like we dropped the ball.
I don't know though if it's fair for you to say that. And again, what are you gonna classify as your generation? Because when we were growing up to the point when I reached, I'm your age, by the way. When we reached that puberty, if you will, that 15, 16, 17,
Yeah.
we still had a lifestyle that was very conducive to social living and a family thing and whatnot. We would
Yes.
sit around and have dinner, and everybody would talk about things. Parents were involved in what their children were doing. You couldn't go out late at night and stay out. We've seen a change, and I don't know that then there would be our generation, but maybe we sparked it, and but this generation here, this Gen Z, man, I amazing.
Well, my observation on that is that I lived in Belize in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I came back, and I've seen a lot of development in Belize. But what I've noticed that we've lost the social fabric is that the way they stop, we are not as close as we used to be. We don't. I don't think we care about each other like we used to be, and the moral
Mhm.
fabric has deteriorated. That's the change that I have seen. We didn't have very much back then, but we had each other, and I see now that it's a lot different. That's my input on that. Yeah,
So,
I
Chairman,
like
I
it.
am the
That's well
youngest
said.
among you all.
That's good. I like that.
I am the
you're the
youngest among
youngest.
you all. So I'll give respect to Council of the Ears.
You will
But
take
we
your
had a
word for it.
man by the name of Carcho. Carcho was one of the most brilliant economists that we had produced. I read when Carcho did the study and came farming in this country. He showed them how we could
Yes.
have in fact improved the cultivation. He showed them how we could have improved in harvesting. He showed them how we could have improved in transportation. We had a what you call a 5-year development plan. It was then Fela Fonseca, Carcho, and then we had this gentleman who was very good in economics. So they were older than I am. But if we had followed what men like them were saying, and let me show you quickly. You want to go into agriculture? Yes, let's develop agriculture. But while we are developing, we are value add. So when you go to do engineering, well, not civil, but like what you call it, I think Greg would know, like chemical engineering, something that you can value add agricultural product. So if we had then followed man like Carter and others who were planning for this country would have been much farther ahead.
And
So
let
we're
me allow
talking
me to
about
plug
the
my
Garifuna. Here was that
allow me to
discovery.
plug my museum
Huh?
here. We have a lot of papers by Canelo Cassius in the library in
That's
the
right.
museum.
He was a brilliant economist.
I
Yes.
was I was going to ask you what type of stuff do you have in that museum, Bill?
We have a lot of artifacts.
I think it's when you lean forward, your mic
Okay.
get yeah.
We have a lot of artifacts where uh, um everything we need to make cassava bread. We
Okay.
have it. We have from the ruguma, and that's the instrument that squeezes the milk from the cassava. You know that poisonous milk
Right.
from the cassava. Okay, we have that on there. We have the grater, and we even have copies of the old fashioned grater that you make with the stone embedded in the wood. You remember those?
Interesting. I don't actually.
I don't either.
The
Yeah,
greater I know that we would use the tech nail and
bore
dig a lot
hole.
of hole.
Piece of wood, and then you would put holes uh, aligned close to each other in the wood, and then you would put a small stone in there, almost like sand,
Interesting.
and it sits in there because it's mostly done with mahogany wood, because mahogany wood closes, and it closes and it holds that stone in there, and you can grate up coconut or anything from it,
And it doesn't rot easily.
and it doesn't rock easily at all.
Yeah. You're gonna make Gregory interested enough to go visit that museum for real.
Yeah. So yeah, we have that on display in there, and we have things. We display some things from our spirituality. We have a spirituality room that now we kind of have religion in there too, because you can't be Garifuna without Catholic.
Yeah.
So
I
And
we
remember
have,
Chef. I went to a dinner that Chef Quilin was the cook, and he
right.
had a garufana porridge, I think, made out of cassava, but it was very sweet. It was like a drink too, and I thought that was fantastic. I've never had anything that tasted so good like that. I don't know what its name, what they call it, but it's a drink made from cassava, and then they sweeten it.
Yeah, I
Are
think you
you
might be talking about one called Pinule, because we have quite a few of them, or maybe it was Hiu.
okay? What is that?
The
Bill,
brown.
what do you do with the
No, it was
milk?
white. It was white. It was like off white.
Is Polali.
Yeah.
Oh, Polali. That
You were
sounds
talking,
familiar.
you were talking about the spirituality, and then you
Yeah, yeah.
mentioned
We have
Yeah.
seeds in there. We
How do
have
you
some
reconcile the two, right?
well, yeah. How the two reconcile? Well, not yeah. How to take and work in tandem with each other.
Yeah.
Even though when you really think deeply about it, there's a lot of confusion.
Huge contradiction.
But-
Huge
but-
contradictions.
But the objective is the same, because the objective of Catholicism, well, their claimed objectives, is to keep people united. And one of the main purposes of the Duga is to unite families, and in a larger scale, unite the Garifuna family. I mean, you hear all kind of things about the spirituality and the spirits come and all that. Yeah, all that is true. But
And
the
do good.
purpose,
Explain do good to us.
well, Duga is a spiritual practice done by the Garifuna, where we venerate through the ancestors.
Right.
And what triggers a Dugu is somebody would dream of our ancestor would appear to somebody in the family in a dream, especially when there are rifts in the family, like brothers not talking to sisters, cousin haven't talked to cousin in a long time. There's this issue over land or money or whatever, and there's a rift within the family. So the ancestors want the family to stay together as this unit, this family unit. And so, and because that demand is, if your family is having a Dugu, you expect it to show up. And if you don't show up, the ancestors will be angry and they'll manifest themselves in some way to show their displeasure.
You speak of the ancestors as if they're still alive.
Well, in a way, they are in a certain realm, because we, it's almost kin to how Catholics venerate through saints. No, we venerate through our ancestors, my lineage, my ancestry, my family. And then on a larger scale, getting this family together, because all the community is usually also invited. So in a way, this ceremony also unites the Garifuna family on a whole.
Is there any power given to the ancestors? You say sometimes they're unhappy when somebody does not show up or does not fall in line with the objectives of the group. What happens? Do you know of any incident where something has happened that could be credited to those ancestors?
Well, people speak of some kind of illness that would befall a family member, and that illness would mysteriously go away after what they should do satisfy.
Interesting. Did you ever witness it personally, any of that, or just what you heard?
No, I've never witnessed that, but I have witnessed the ancestral spirit. I have I have witnessed it.
eh,
like actually been taken over by the spirit of the ancestors.
your body was taken over,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
I, I know
well,
I know. Uh-huh.
this is what I learned afterwards. But me myself, when the situation was happening, I felt like I was levitating.
Yeah,
Later on, later on, I got to find out that I didn't. Nobody said that I levitated, but my feeling was that I was.
good weed does that for me too.
You know.
No,
Well,
I
see,
don't want
see,
to make like that. It's a jam
yeah, no, but I do understand that because maybe for the same reason they call liquor spirit.
yeah. Liquor might have that effect. Yeah,
But the whole thing is this: you're like we talk about belief earlier. We mentioned the word,
right.
and I know belief is not fact, but it can be your belief, and to you, it's true. It's a
Well,
truth.
the mind is an awesome thing,
Yeah, the mind is awesome. I've been to. I remember I went to a conference in Hawaii, and this doctor got up when it was her time to speak, and she posed a question to the audience. These are all medical personnel. She posed a question: what's the strongest prescription that a doctor can prescribe for a patient who's not feeling well? And they call all kind of different drugs, and she dismissed all of them. And finally, she said, "You know what it is? Placebo."
Mm. With nothing, just the mind.
Everybody, everybody there automatically agreed.
Yeah, yeah. If you believe it, it will happen. Let me give you an experience, one story, and it has nothing to do with the ancestral thing. But I have a cousin in New York, and he visited. But this gentleman is deathly afraid of snakes. I mean, afraid when he didn't want to come because he said there's some bush by the house, and he afraid for snake. And so anyway, we getting ready to leave. He came and we spent some time getting ready to leave, and the man went to he's about your complexion, but he kind of run back to me pale, white. I'm saying, why we going on? He said, one snake in the car. And I'm saying, no way. I've never seen a snake around here that close to the vehicle or even the house. And when I went and the man showed me in a coil up in a corner where the door opened was a snake. And I said, Mr. Man, you had to have created that with your mind. Your fear of that had to have been what created that snake. But it was there, and I couldn't lie. I mean, it was right. So I don't know, but the mind is a powerful tool.
Yep. I can reveal something. I've only done it once in my life, and I did it with two friends that were very responsible. And I did LSD, and LSD is an incredible drug. It does something to your mind where you go on these. It's like they say you trip, and you go on
Yeah.
these trips, and it's. I'm not going to explain all the trips I went through, but I remember them, and it was an incredible experience. It
Did
really
you
is. So
did you
yes,
have
the
fun?
mind.
Did you like it?
I liked it, but I wouldn't do it again. It's too intense.
I
But
know what you mean because the
but
same
Spooner,
thing when I
were you
tried
aware of what you were taking?
when,
Yes, I was.
when
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
Yeah,
went to a
because I know about
powwow.
it.
When
Actually,
I
Sorry.
went to
it's actually love, sex, and desire. LSD.
yeah,
Oh,
I went
Lucy
to a
okay.
in the Sky
powwow.
with Diamonds. The
Go ahead,
Beatles,
Bill.
Lucy in the Sky with
Yeah,
Diamonds. But
I
no,
went to
it's
a
an
powwow where
incredible
I
drug.
tried
Hold
peyote.
on, Spooner. Hold on. One at a time. Bill, go ahead.
I was just going to say when he talked about how he felt because I felt the same way because I went to a powwow where I tried
Yeah.
peyote and it was the
Yes.
same
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
And the first thing I told myself that something must be wrong here because this feeling is too good.
Uh,
You know how long I was high for, Bill? 3 days.
Ah,
3 days.
nah,
I was tripping for 3 days.
did you
That's why I
sleep?
wouldn't do it again. It was a great experience, but I wouldn't do it again. Too intense.
Did
It
you
revealed
sleep?
too much stuff.
Did you sleep and wake up high, or you just didn't sleep?
Um, I can't remember sleeping, but I think on the last day, Sunday, Saturday night I slept into Sunday, but when I woke up, I had not as deep hallucination, but I was still high. My friend said, "Do you want to do some more?" And I said, "No, no, that's fine. I happy what I experienced. I don't want to do it again." But it was an
Yeah.
incredible experience. Incredible experience.
What I'm telling you, Dr. Spooner,
Yes, sir.
in San Francisco, why they call it love, sex, and desire? Because it was in
Uh-huh.
fact for 3 days. The first day were to love, the second day were to have sex, and the third day was a desire never to do it again.
I like that.
And you know, and you actually you got away because that's the way addiction comes in. When
Yeah.
you like it so much and keep doing it, which
Yeah.
which allows me at this point that we're move off to other matters now. Um, understand that the crack epidemic is getting worse in Belize. In fact, it's being
Yeah, it
revived.
was like
It will. I heard
Crack,
saw a
crack
couple
or
of
just
stories.
marijuana?
Beg your pardon?
Is it crack or just marijuana?
Crack. It is crack
yeah.
cocaine. And they've had a couple of arrests. There was an interview with the lady who does the press office for the police. And she was talking about not only about the prevalence of it, but the age of the people who are now engaging. And there are certain areas, Ladyville was mentioned as one, where it's really starting to just seem to take off. They arrested today or yesterday was a mother and a daughter for selling crack cocaine and in possession and a couple of other things. And they were suggesting that the use of it might be what is contributing to many of the crimes that are occurring out there. Certainly the burglaries and the robberies, etc. No?
Wasn't there a story too about an American couple, a mother and son, that apparently came to Belize, were doing well, misfortune, and they got into
Oh
crack
yes,
cocaine.
and they committed suicide, right?
They committed double suicide,
Yeah,
apparently. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah,
And there was
yeah.
crack involved. Yeah.
So it's
We need Trump
interesting.
to bomb. We need Trump for torpedo more than drug boats, man. That's what we need for do.
No, don't
That's,
try it.
yeah.
No, got it, no, got it, no, got it.
No
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
No stop it. And now the
Yeah.
drugs with cocaine coming to
Those
Belize.
boats could
Do you know
never
that
make it to America from where they were launched. So that there's
Yes,
no
of
excuse
course
for
not.
that.
They drop them off in Central America.
All right, then
Where you
they
think
go
they
to
drop it
Central
off?
America and stop it. But why? And they weren't even sure that them boats all had drugs
All
on
right.
there.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
But
see,
do
yeah,
you
you
know?
were in the police. You saw the drug boats. I saw the drug boats. They were selling them at auction, the engines and the boats, big boats for that brought
I
the
suppose
cocaine
somebody
into
bought
Belize.
one at an auction and went out there fishing.
Huh?
Should they have been bombed? No, of
Don't
course
believe
Let,
not.
let
that.
me
Don't believe
let
that.
me take you up on something with crack. Well, crack is an extremely dangerous drug. It is.
Very addictive, apparently.
Highly
It's very
addictive. Yeah.
addictive, but it's a chemical that when you are on it, it's highly unlikely they will ever be able to rehabilitate you. It's dangerous.
That's
You
not
see,
true,
it's
Joe.
not.
I know a lot of crack addicts that have been rehabilitated.
No, they are maybe rehabilitated, but I am giving you the scientific evidence that they have. You see what you are dealing with. If you are dealing with pure cocaine, I'm not suggesting it's good for you, but it won't be so harmful in the same dose. If you are dealing with pure marijuana, it won't be so harmful. But crack is extremely dangerous. The
Joe,
chemical composition.
do you know how crack is made?
Yeah.
Yes, you can look
How,
at it.
how is it made?
Well, I don't really could tell you the how it's
Like I
actually
could
made.
tell you. I could
But
tell you
crack,
more
yeah, you
about
could
that.
tell me the guy
But
used to use it, I suppose. But
Yeah.
nothing wrong. A lot of people were using it, but it's not
No,
good. It's
I'm
the
not
worst.
saying anything is right. That's not my argument. It's
No,
not
it's
that
the
it's right.
worst. Well, go ahead. Tell me the composition. Tell me the chemical composition.
It's just cocaine in a condensed form. They cook it with some baking soda, and then it comes into a rock form, and
That's
that
right.
is what they smoke. Now,
But that
there, there,
chemical composition. Anyway, go ahead.
there are a number of people I know that used to be on crack that came off of crack, and they did get rehabilitated. And no matter again our mind thing, the same thing with the mind. If you believe that you're not rehabilitated, then you go right back to it. If you there's some people every time they get into a least struggle of life, they look for a crutch, and it's a crutch for many people. But I have to disagree with you. There are people who have rehabilitated from crack, and I know people that, like Spooner said, would never go back, would not want to do it again, even if they came and brought it to you free. wouldn't do it again, and which is a good thing. I'm really happy about that because yes, one thing I agree with you with is a very dangerous drug, and not only that, it makes people do things that they ordinarily wouldn't do. I know some very beautiful women, beautiful, went on crack, and man, the things that they would do would turn your stomach. And I'm saying, how do you get to this point? You know?
Yeah, from what I gather, it's very highly addictive, and the high doesn't last very long. It's cheap, but the amount of it that you smoke during the day, then it gets expensive.
Oh yeah,
When
of
I hear
course.
it, the high is lasts, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and then you have to take another hit, and you end up chasing that high again.
Well, you're
But
chasing it all day because I
yeah,
can tell you that the first hit is the only one that gets you high.
yeah,
After
yeah,
that, you're chasing it,
yeah,
and until you can sleep it off and come back, and the next day you not even get high. So
yeah,
I want terrible that one epidemic,
yeah.
and
You know,
I hope
I appreciate it. I appreciate this conversation because I was a therapist and I was a coordinator for a major drug treatment program here in LA.
okay.
So and you guys talking about it, I really appreciate. I really appreciate that. And there seems to be a lot of knowledge amongst us here, when it comes to the topic. And I care about it. Just about what everybody said is true because it's highly addictive, but it's also see because what you deal with when you get addicted to crack cocaine is that you get a behavior change,
Mm-hmm.
and the behavior have to be treated more than the chemical effect of it.
Interesting.
Because the key
Interesting.
is the behavior. Because they have people like we talk about getting addicted to. They have people when it gets to a certain time of the day, just because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they have to smoke. But just because when they wake up in the morning, they have to smoke. If they drive from here to here to the same location, they have to smoke. So because this addiction is controlled a lot by your behavior.
It's funny, Bill, that you should say that because I'll tell you what, I know a guy that used to smoke crack. And the problem is that I don't trust him because his behavior was a crackhead type of behavior. So you're absolutely right. Apart from the chemical, you have to treat that behavior and also convince people that you are no longer of that characteristic. And that
Right.
the one salient point that you make. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to allow people to treat you with distrust. You have to accept that.
Oh, well, you brought that on yourself, no?
Yeah, you
Obviously.
brought it on yourself. But that's not easy for a human being to accept. But that's
Yeah.
one thing that you have to accept, especially, and it's also detailed in what they call the 12-step program.
Hmm. Well,
Because I even did, like I said, I was the coordinator for the program, so I'm also responsible for starting needle exchange program in Los Angeles and in Compton
Mm.
for heroin
Yeah.
addicts.
I think you made a good point when you said that it changes the personality, because I've seen people that were crack users and it seems like it make them very agitated.
Irritable. Mhm.
Their behavior and action was always in a flickering kind of response type of behavior.
It's
I
probably is when their high goes down and they're craving to have another hit.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
Because their behavior immediately after taking the substance is not like that.
yeah,
It's when the highs start to wear down, and especially if they don't have more to get back to that high. That's
I
when
didn't
the
think
problem starts.
I
Then
didn't
you
think it
get
was that. I didn't think it was that obvious. But anyway,
well, I think we do have a problem then in Belize if this is becoming a national epidemic.
yeah.
And we do
It's
need
a
to
matter for
try.
concern. It's a matter for concern.
yeah.
And people are always saying, "Well, go after the big man, go after the big dealers," but also the environment that's in place that will make the family structure that is not there, the support system then to find somebody when they're going that way and catch them up and bring them and say, well, you know what? Come on, get this together. So,
Do you have any ideas why it's coming back? Because it went away for a while, for quite a while, hasn't it?
yeah,
I
well,
probably
it didn't go away, you know. It
100%.
never went away, but it was not as prominent. It
Yeah.
wasn't as the rampant use of it, and you weren't. They were being outcast almost. So people who engaged in it knew that they couldn't engage in it and be a part of the community as such. Now I don't know if that it's gotten to the point where they're so helplessly devoted and addicted, or that we're becoming more lenient. You know, we're politically correct now. You can't condemn anybody for anything. You just have to accept it.
Mr.
is
You
it
Chairman,
know,
is it
I think
is it
it's very
because
scary that it's happening in a small village. That's
yeah, is
scary.
it because of cost? It's becoming more accessible than other drugs.
The funny thing, because and I don't know that it's an alternative, either weed or marijuana, and I don't think that
No, it's not.
marijuana is a gateway drug either. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think that people who go on that, they want deliberate choice, and maybe they want to try it, and when they try it for the first time, it is really good. So they want to go back and they want to escape.
Then you get catch. Yeah.
Yeah.
can I suggest something? If you were to look at a public policy drug decision making, we have already inclined to want to decriminalize marijuana. There was a time when alcohol was prohibited. We gone beyond that and we decriminalize it and regulate it. Though there is talk, and of course in the US, much of the states have decriminalized marijuana and regulate.
All right.
Belize was very much inclined, and we are still in the process of getting a referendum on it
Mm-hmm.
to decriminalize and regulate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you like to see we decriminalize and regulate crack? Okay.
No, but I would like to see us decriminalize marijuana because,
Right.
in fact, I believe
Why is it
maybe.
that?
It is decriminalized. It's just not legal. Yeah.
No, but what I'm asking you is because crack cocaine is an extremely dangerous drug.
Right.
And I'm saying that if you look at the purity, I don't mean it in the literal sense of saintly, but the purity of the plant itself is less likely to bring the damage than when you attempt to adulterate it. And crack
Well, it's
cocaine is
organic.
extremely
Yeah.
dangerous.
It's less likely to bring damage than what?
It is most
Marijuana?
likely one of them that is most likely to damage you.
Uh-huh.
Very life threatening.
Right.
And what happened to it? It is cheaper. Because
Yes.
when you sell cocaine in its pure form, of course you will get your high. But you could more survive it in let's say in a more managed dose. Many people use cocaine, but it's expensive, the pure cocaine.
You
So
mean
the
Joe,
only
30 years, 35 years, more than that, probably 40
only
years ago when I
well-to-do
was
can
in the
afford
States,
cocaine.
it's
But what
100
happened
US for a gram.
when you take cocaine and you adulterate it and make crack? They make it cheap, but it's highly dangerous
right.
because it lost that natural purity. And it's highly
Well,
dangerous.
but you were using it in the same breath as marijuana, and you were
No,
talking
no,
about
I'm not using
legalizing
it.
marijuana.
No, what I wanted to emphasize
Uh-huh.
that all these drugs are hallucinating and they high you and they put
Uh-uh.
you. No, what I'm saying to you is that if we were to decriminalize, I would say that we would be inclined more to do marijuana and maybe even cocaine. But for right now, do not interfere, especially not even think. You see, when you decriminalize something like crack, you decriminalize poison.
But who's talking about decriminalizing crack, Joe?
well,
So that's
let's
how,
talk about poison. We
yeah,
mentioned alcohol briefly, and that's the worst thing that a human being can put in their body in
okay,
comparison to marijuana
I
and
agree.
cocaine.
Scientifically proven.
You don't pull it in and blow it out. You keep it in there.
No,
Yeah,
I think Mr.
alcohol.
Flores is making a very important point.
Yeah, and we we have a tendency to accept the drinking of alcohol at any level in any amounts.
That's right.
Socially acceptable.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, at one point in Belize, it was manly to be drunk.
That's right.
You know,
That's
so if we are talking about protecting, so why is alcohol protected?
And legal.
Yeah, illegal. Why?
the only
Because of
reason
the
I can
demand.
give that in the period of the prohibition, it was not even so much an issue of a health issue. It was an issue of to regulate, to be able to. They felt that if you keep it prohibited, it will be more dangerous. But if you decriminalize it and regulate it, you can better manage it.
Well, the same
Yeah,
argument can be made for
The same argument,
marijuana.
and
no,
you
the
can
same
control the
argument
quality.
be, no, every country make the same argument. We made the same argument with casino. We realized that we cannot stop the gambling. It was illegal. But we decided the best way to manage it is to decriminalize it and regulate it.
And you were in favor of that.
Well, I was one of them who sat with the churches with the prime minister to convince them why we should go that way, and they gone.
So if that's the case with casino and with alcohol, what is the objection to marijuana?
My
Because
point I want to make is
gambling addiction is treated the same way.
Yeah.
It's just a great slide. That's all. That's the only difference. But to tell the truth, I have no problem with the decriminalization of any type of drugs. I believe that you could decriminalize it. You remove the violence of people trying to get it, and you allow a method for rehabilitation and also for education and for drug treatment. And in that process, you and education, you bring about the knowledge to the public that they will stay away from it. But you are able to then direct the resources of government to more workable solutions rather than have the police officer trying to chase down criminals, bringing it in or selling it and all that type of stuff. You work with the people you have that then are causing the problems of abuse and need treatment, and you could focus on that. And it also doesn't allow the corruption of our institutions, or police, or military, or government officials, or businesses. That
You
is the better solution in addressing drug usage.
you might suspect that I am in favor of legalizing marijuana, and I am, because I do not think that it's addictive. With cocaine, though, and you're suggesting that you would even be in favor of that. But see, cocaine, in particular, when poorer people start using it and they cannot afford it, that is when they will do anything to get it, because there's a demand on the body that you need it. So they will. You cannot trust a crackhead. Everybody knows that. Nobody will trust a crackhead because they will do anything to get that next high. And that is the problem I have with cocaine. Why I would not be
I
in
would
favor
differ
of.
with you on marijuana. Marijuana, if you smoke enough of it, you become addicted to it. So I
Well,
don't
if
think
you
you
do
recover.
anything enough of, but I mean,
Exactly.
But
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman, I
But
think
education, I think, is the key.
Yeah,
but I
I
think
like
that
what
exactly.
Gregory is saying. I support that.
I was
What you
wanting to
support?
I
What
wanted to speak
legalizing
on
everything?
Yeah, that's
All
I
one
right,
way of
wanted
keeping the. That's one way of taking the crime out of it.
I wanted
interesting.
And
to comment
the
on
threat to
something that
regular good people.
I want to speak on something that Greg mentioned, and it's about public policy again and public morality. Because public policy evidently has to be guided because of public morality. And you said something, Mr. Gregory, that when you create a perverse incentive, people will then want to go for it more. It's like just use simple thing like taxes, and then when come to drugs. The higher the taxes are with inputs, you're creating a perverse incentive because it become more profitable. So therefore they will pursue it. And the same thing happen with drugs. Simple different though, because they deal with now the human body. So when you are in fact criminalizing those things, it's a perverse incentive for them to make money from.
So, Joe, would you be in favor then of decriminalizing all drugs, as Greg is suggesting and Spooner is agreeing?
I think the mistake we are making is that it's not the decriminalization
But
of
but
the
but but
drug.
but, but, but let me get an answer to the question.
I will get the answer
Would
because
you be in favor? The one yes or no question actually. Would you be in favor of
A binary
decriminalizing
decision.
all the drugs, as Greg is suggesting and Spooner is agreeing?
I will agree on it with one condition, and this is my philosophy. I cannot really expect everyone to be upright, and I said that to you already. No, it is better for us to try to make humans upright, that you don't have to keep them upright. And if you can put more into creating families where we shape them to the point where they can, in fact, look at something and don't take it because it's not good. And that is what society needs.
Yeah,
So
pipe
that then
dream.
we, so
A
then we
pipe
can
dream.
decriminalize all these things
That's
and
a
then
pipe dream.
make you know that it's not good for me and don't take it.
Hi, boy. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, it's the ideal.
That
It
is
is
the
the
ideal,
ideal.
and it's idealistic. I
It is,
don't
but it
think
should
that
be.
It's
you
not,
can.
No,
no,
but
because
it's only
if you
idealistic
figure,
when
if you
develop
figure
human
out,
beings.
yeah, but
What's
if
that
you
for
figure
you?
out 90% of people don't take drug in any abusive way. It's a margin of people that really abuse these
10%.
drugs.
That's
10%.
a good point. That's a
Very,
good
very
point.
good point.
But is enough to wreak havoc on the
Yes,
society.
yes,
That's the
yes,
problem.
yes.
Right.
Now,
And
Bill.
yeah,
Bill,
and
Yes.
legalizing it will not change that dynamics, I believe. It will just take away the incentive from the producers and the users and all the people that cause the mayhem and create and corruption that it causes to the system
how
and the
will that?
institutions.
How will it take away the incentive?
Well,
How?
if you are not going to make that big profit because it is not restricted, and now you could go into your regular grocery store and buy a little thing of cocaine for $5 rather than having to have to pay $100 for it.
Yeah, but
Then,
making it accessible, Gregory, like that, would you think would
well,
help? Let me get
yeah, I think
Greg's.
it would help. I think it would help because only the people that wants it will have it, and in so doing, there'll be an education program that takes away the desire for people to use it, want it, or even
Greg,
try it.
That's right. Very true.
I can't. That's not right, Joe. I
Don't,
can't
don't,
see
don't
that.
don't
I,
forget
I
How
agree
don't
with
would
forget
how?
Gregory.
don't
Hold
forget the
on.
effects of marketing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but
Because
You
then
if
you make
if it
it.
becomes legal, they're going to market it.
No,
Yes,
you
of
could
course.
there could be restrictions on marketing. I'm not saying that you could go out there and start saying you could market it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying decriminalize it. I'm not saying states
But that
promoting it.
leads to marketing. That will lead to people
That,
taking advantage of that to make money, Greg.
that's
And if
true.
you
That's
make it
true.
accessible, you're not taking away the incentive. You're giving more incentive, don't you think?
But we have the advantage of alcohol. We have the advantage of alcohol. How does it change the dynamics of that?
well, I think Mr. Gregory is onto something, and I think Mr. Flores said something just now. Marketing. We have to accept that it's not no one thing when it comes to how you're going to develop human behavior. It's a cumulative effect of many things together. Though, when we went for a referendum, first out in Kikaka, the mistake the minister was making, not only for Kikaka, that was the minister for what they call it, new growth. I met with him and I advised him, do not go out there and go to decriminalize marijuana to make it an industry. Marijuana must be decriminalized under the International Human Rights Convention. They must have a right to use it. Well, he gone and make it look like, no, we're going to make an industry.
Yeah.
That is the marketing side of it that people turn against it. And the churches, if you had just said, well, listen, don't push the industry thing because it's like you say, listen, make we begin to promote, make we begin to market heavily. Cigarette smoking is good for you. Alcohol is good for you. There are some of us who just cannot be so upright in our mind to be able
Yeah.
to know that it's not good. So
Mhm.
marketing will play a role in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are so many, you see, when you deal with public policy, we have to understand that the cumulative effect of many things.
Yeah.
Bill, what do you think as far as the legalizing of all drugs across the board? You've done with the drug
No,
program bit and when.
I would go. I would agree. Well, let me first say this. Okay, marijuana. The marijuana that we're getting today is not the marijuana of my day. This marijuana today is hybrid. It's cross pollinized.
Correct.
It's grown in. It's most of it is grown hydrophonically, and
They make
we're
it
not
more
sure what
potent.
is and we're not sure what is added into that water.
Right.
But the THC content in the marijuana today is almost 100% more than the marijuana that we smoked back in the 1970s. Because the THC content today is very, very, very high. And that's the difference. The marijuana today, like someone said, like I know G. Michael said that, oh yeah, it's not addictive. But I'm kind of waffling with that idea because I didn't think it was either. But we'd have to qualify the statement and saying
But,
today's marijuana.
but can I
Because
mitigate your argument on this standpoint?
okay,
If
great.
you if you decriminalize marijuana, you regulate it, and then the regulation will make it clear as to what strength you have it and how you're going to do it. So if you think you can genetically modify anything for the benefit of making money, if you regulate it, it cannot be done.
Why
Well,
can't it be
no,
done?
I'm glad
Because
you
when they were
because
looking to regulate marijuana, it was already there as to how you want to differentiate between those with the high THC and those with the lesser. That's the
Because
Yeah,
standpoint.
if you
they
go into
do.
marijuana stores, they have them in jars and they tell you all
right.
about the THC and they
That's
tell you
right.
Yes,
about
they
the
do.
different effects that each one gives you.
Exactly. Exactly. That's how they regulate.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's right. Because they do because when you go to the marijuana stores here, the THC content is written on the container.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me let me share with you something personal. I smoke marijuana every day except 1 day a week. I don't smoke it. I take a rest and a Sabbath from Facebook and marijuana. In fact, I've smoked marijuana for years. And the only time I stopped is when I worked with the police department because I felt it to be hypocritical for me to be smoking marijuana and working for an organization that locked people up for smoking
And I
marijuana.
want to ask you a quick question. The
Uh,
marijuana you smoke today, does it have seed? Does it have seed in it?
no seed, no seed.
Okay, that's hybrid. That's hybrid marijuana.
Right,
That's
right.
high
And
THC
and, and
content.
I find it to be the better one. But here's the deal now. Let me finish that. I get up in the morning and take a cup of coffee and smoke some marijuana. I then use it as an incentive. I do my exercises and whatnot, and I go through. I live with a lot of pain, but it does also help in that regard. So it's
Right.
almost medicinal. But when I wake up in the morning and smoke some marijuana, I don't touch it again for the rest of the day. And I'm telling you that it can be done. And people don't have to fall prey to that all day crushing. You see the young boy, those kids on the side of the sidewalk all day crushing marijuana,
Right.
and it's become a
Right.
kind of social thing. That
Yes.
that to me is stupid. It's stupidity. And every time they have a conversation, they have a cigarette in their mouth. Now they've gotten to the point where they roll it in tobacco, fonto.
Fonto. Yeah.
And I can tell you from experience, I believe that cigarette nicotine kills the high of marijuana. I posted something on Facebook this week and got some feedback from it and backlash too. Marijuana makes dreamers of potential achievers. It does.
Could
I
somebody explain fonto? So somebody explain fonto because I've heard the word before,
Fountain
but
about that tobacco leaf is a dry tobacco leaf and they roll the marijuana in there. So that's the Fanta that they smoke. Now, I don't smoke with Fanta
that's
nor
probably
paper.
that's probably strong.
But, but
Oh man, it is strong. I
Hard.
hate cigarette. I hate the smell of cigarette. But I use a pipe. I don't use neither paper nerve funto. I use a pipe and deal with the marijuana, and I don't smoke all that much, but I smoke enough to get me a buzz and get me through. But I'm
And that
saying
buzz
to
lasts you
you,
all day? The buzz lasts you all day?
no, I
No?
don't
Mr.
want it to
Chairman,
last because I've set aside some time to dream. I'm saying it makes dreamers of potential achievers, but every man deserves a little dreaming time. That's all I
Yeah.
got to say.
but
Go ahead,
Dr.
Joe.
Spooner, I think the chairman is absolutely correct. And let me show you. If you go back to historical evidence, and let's say before we come into a state of a society, because we were in a state of nature before. In the state of nature, things like what he's saying is was used for the benefit of human beings to be able to good work. The cocoa that we make cocaine from was used for the purpose of giving them the strength that they need. And the same thing with these things. So when the chairman is saying that there is historical evidence to support it, we move from a state of nature into a state of society. Evidently, we were losing what was then we needed it for. So if you use it now to elevate you and make your baby, the saying is that if you can conceive it, then you're supposed to be able to believe it. And if you can believe it, you can achieve it.
Yeah.
So the chairman is right. In a sense, it was these same things why these people, Mozart and all of them, what you think they get a high and just music? It was those things that made them write and do music the way they did.
When Moses went up into the hill and saw the burning bush, but make we not go spiritual one. Make we change gears. Make we change gears here a bit. Let's go up on the BTL issue because we have to discuss that some.
Let me just add one thing before we jump off, if I can, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that in all this, what's happening though in the United States and also I understand in France is that alcohol usage is going down considerably amongst young people.
Not in Belize.
Maybe not in Belize. They're consuming less than 15% less alcohol than they have in the past, and for the industry, it's a concern, and so I'm figuring that there's going to be a lot of push to.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see some campaigning. You're gonna see some campaigning, yeah. But tell me though, did it specify what area of what level of society? Because those big wigs are still drinking their
well, they said this was among young people. This was
okay,
because
what
the
are they
whiskey.
replacing it with? What have they gone on to replace the alcohol?
That's what I was wondering.
Interesting.
Especially in France, in France, where there were wine drinkers, people would always have a glass of wine. They go out and sit in the cafe or out in the park, and they take a bottle of wine and drink that, and it's going down.
I would just like to make an input. Why I support the legalization of marijuana is that I don't really like alcohol, and for me to enjoy alcohol, I have to mix the two. I will drink a couple ounces of whiskey, and I'll smoke and take 4 totes out of that, and that gives me a beautiful high. And I drink whiskey for the rest of the night. That keeps me on a nice mellow, nice feeling, happy feeling, and all of that. But for me, just to sit down and drink beer all day, all night, and just drink whiskey, it not give me a nice high. And so it's unfair for people like me to ban me from being able to smoke. And that's why I support the legalization of it. That's one of the reasons.
Or decriminalization. I'm not talking about, in my support, it's not legalizing where the state has a hand in making promotion of it, but decriminalizing it so that.
But one thing leads to the
Well, it
other.
is decriminalized right now. I was on the committee. Belize marijuana is decriminalized. Okay, if you get caught with 10 grams and less, you're not going to go to jail.
Decriminalized means to me you could have a warehouse full of it.
You asked a very pertinent question though, Jeremy, when you asked what they replaced it with, because it is said that nature abhors a vacuum, and when you do something and you stop it, the vacuum is there because it doesn't close up like that. It seems that nature expands always and never contracts.
Well, is it fentanyl? Is it fentanyl? The synthetic drugs that they use that's so prevalent that the president of the United States is so concerned about it that he bombs ships in the boats in the Caribbean. So I don't know what's replacing it. I don't know where the energy and the money is going, for the young people as they move away from alcohol.
Yeah, hopefully they'll go to marijuana, no, and not to cocaine, because again, I don't think marijuana is addictive. I know cocaine is. Heroin, my God, and I guess those are the guys you were dealing with. Thank God, heroin has never taken hold in Belize, and I believe it might be because we are afraid of needles. We don't want to take injections, so I
Yeah.
can't. Spooner, the only man where I say go stick a needle in your hand,
But you know, some people also sniff it.
well,
Heron is
yeah.
sniffed too. It's
Is
also sniffed.
is it good like that?
I don't, but I yeah, but I was told that
You don't have to
it
tell.
takes
I'm kidding. I'm
yeah,
kidding.
it's still as effective, but it takes longer to get to feel the high. See, because
Uh,
with the needle, it's directly into the bloodstream, so it's almost immediate.
the heroin, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the heroin. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it one time, and again, here's a confession because I was put in a holding cell for a weekend, and
So opium.
there was a guy in there. We're not going too much into detail. The guy in there had come in and he had swallowed a balloon with some heroin in it, and then he passed it out, and then he took the balloon and opened it up and was sniffing and asked me if I wanted to try it. It would have been the first time and the only time I tried heroin. And when I tried it, all I smelled was shit. And that did it for me. It did it for me. I don't even want to see it again.
Yeah, but you
Well,
have
there's a new kind of entertainment because we hosted a show at our place a couple times, and you got DJs. There's like three DJs. They play music, very psychedelic music, echoing music and so on like that. And there's no vocals. It's just music, and they play with the turntables and they mix
That's
the music. And you know what the crowd does? The crowd just stands there, and the individuals, and they're into their own little world. And apparently, they take. My son was telling me they take ecstasy or some other drug, and they
yeah.
take daily liquor, and they don't give no trouble. They're in their own little world with this music, and it's incredible, and that's how they enjoy themselves. But I think it's called rave music. I'm not too if that's
Yeah, I'm familiar with the term. I'm familiar with the term.
I think one of my
is
sons.
it called rave? It's called rave, yeah.
Yeah, it's not right.
Well,
Yeah,
I want to build an idea that the chairman pointed out. The other day, I went to a place up at the mall on the road there. A friend took me there, and it was a place where they were promoting Cuban cigars. The primary thing, you get drinks, you get alcohol there. But what you do, you sit down in groups, and they have one variety of top Cuban cigars. So what they use the place for is for cigar smoking. The chairman came up with an idea, it seems to me, and I would suggest that maybe we go back to the Romans, as you know, were so gluttonous. They eat. And they came up with the idea that, because we are so gluttonous, we're going to build now a vomitorium to complement the gluttony. So maybe, Mr. Chairman, we could think of the next move. Open a club where you can come to, and we will select the type of drugs you'll be able to use. Get your high, we sober you up and send you home.
Well, China had the opium dens.
That's right.
And a lot of them.
But I want to show you the so-called
well, it
decriminalization.
was the British that got them addicted to opium.
Yeah.
Those bloody British
Oh
people,
Lord,
man.
here we go.
Intentionally.
Spooner's nature. Spooner says it's
Yeah,
nature.
I know. My people were terrible. They did horrible
Let me
things.
show you something
there
before
we
we
go.
go off. What we call the decriminalization of marijuana was an inherent contradiction. To give me the allowance to have 10 grams,
Yeah.
but you cannot produce it, you cannot sell it.
Yes, that's right.
So to me, that
Well-
was an inherent contradiction.
Well, you could say cannot all you want, but obviously it's being sold and it's being produced.
But what I'm telling you, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, no, it's not a waste of time, but at least the poor people who are buying it, now we're not jail when the police catch
Yeah, they
them
don't get a
with
record.
a few grams.
They don't get a record.
No, I disagree with you.
Uh-huh.
If you go to the jails and you look at the amount of people in that jail, and you look at the amount of them are there for marijuana,
Then
it's
they
a
had to
large
let them
amount.
out. They had to let them
Large
out.
amount. Still going.
They ought to let
It's
them out.
nonsense because they're wasting their time.
But they're not going for 10 grams or less.
No. They can't go for 10 grams.
Right.
But if
So that's
I
right.
decide, yeah, but you're the one low income person. And
No.
you say, listen, I want to begin to trade.
Uh-huh.
So I buy it and I sell it. No, that is criminal.
That's right. You can't
Then you
traffic.
tell me
Yeah.
I read for me to consume it.
No.
So how you make it criminal for me to sell it?
You can possess it, and that's decriminalized. They're not going to do nothing
No,
for having
Master
it.
Chairman. How do I possess it if I am not?
Ask
You
me,
know-
I got a few numbers, Phil.
No, what I will tell you, I tell you what they do. You know what they do? I tell you how the same purpose incentive. They find the people where they do it legally with the 10 gram, and then they check the source, and they go to the source and they shake them down. If they don't get their money, then they could lock them. That's a purpose incentive right there.
Yeah, boy, it sound like you got the information you could use, man.
No, you don't have to. No. You're sitting guys out in the street.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you met them when we meet the ones then when they hold during the thing when me and Nuri gonna talk with it. Then people sharp, man. They're not good business people. You think they're
Yeah, there's a guy in front of my cafe selling a marijuana stick to the tourists, which I don't agree with because kids are walking by with their parents, and these guys are going, "Hey man, you want a stick of weed? $20 for a joint, 20 US." Then they sell it.
We were going to talk about the BTL.
Yes, we need to move towards that. Right?
No problem.
Interesting conversation, guys. We're going with this. I really enjoyed it, and interesting because I didn't know that Bill had some experience with the drug rehab programs. Because there, I'm sure you had some interesting scenarios there that we could talk about some more. But
Yeah,
the BTL,
I was just going to say, and it's funny because I thought I knew what the life in the street was, but dealing with these people, I realized that I was a square.
oh man, there's game. There's game out there, boy. I tell you, there's game out there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So anyway, but the BTL now, and I see that the unions have come out, the opposition has come out, but now the unions is saying to the opposition, hold on, we not on your level here at all. We not look for no violence. We don't want to cause no problem. We just want to protest peacefully. But of course, the unions, the opposition is not looking for that. As Channel 7 said, that the opposition wants to start something, obviously.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? And should the unions be doing their own? Because it look like they're more into the settlement that BTL has to do with their people that were let go, their workers, and that they're not getting their money. Now, the matter of the acquisition, and Joe went to detail with us, and I appreciate that. And having thought about that, I could see the difference between merging and acquisition. And yes, the acquisition now. But, gentlemen, doesn't it seem that all they have to do is not give Smart any of the government's business, which a lot of government business goes to Smart, and it happened after they developed Smart, and it seemed like they were trying to kill BTL. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
From outside. So now they got Smart now, and they put all. Isn't it? Maybe we just encourage people who are now customers of Smart to switch over to BTL, give them some incentive, give them some lower weight, and let Smart die a natural death, as opposed to spending 80 million to bail out these people that have put themselves in that position. Any comments?
I have some comment on this, Mr. Chairman. I took it on my own to do the investment model, which is part of our profession. No, we do. Now, in doing the investment model, there were some inputs I needed, and I got some from experts. For example, the first one I wanted to clear. It is saying that Starlink could have been a threat and make telecommunication as we know it today become technologically obsolescence. I spoke with an expert in that field. He says Starlink will never be able to compete with the fiber.
Yeah.
And he told me why. Simply because the population, the demographics of it is too small. And where we have sparsity is where Starlink can dominate, but we don't have this sparsity. So I was able to remove that from the model.
Where we have paucity, you say?
Sparsity.
Yes.
Sparse
Yes.
population.
Sparsity. Where is
It means
sparse?
where the population is so dispersed. Like the
Right,
East
right.
Oh, dispersion. Okay.
yeah, a sparsity, that's the word they use in the demographics of the country. No, what I'm saying to you, we could have dismissed that in the model we developed. Then we went to the next stage. It is evidently an acquisition, not a merger.
Right.
No, the idea of the acquisition is that you could buy out the shares, just the shares. You buy the shares of Smart and you own the assets and liabilities. But then when I begin to investigate and I got the information from people who knew about it and in it, and when I look at the capacity, the 200,000 customers that BTL has and the 100,000, I think that was the figure they gave me. I have it written down somewhere else what I was doing it. It was clear to me that the buying of Smart by BTL will enhance the profitability, no doubt. So here we are now with a guaranteed customer base for Smart, that's BTL. Evidently, that is where now it enhances it through the fixed cost because the capacity that BTL has evidently will go beyond the break-even point, and every time the incremental revenue goes up, the incremental cost will be less, and that's where you begin to get greater profits. So we were able to establish that with it. The next point was this: what will you do with the assets that Smart has that you may not have need for? If you have real estate and you buy the bundle, just like what we did when we bought out cable and wireless, what it turned out that Smart never had any property, no real estate. The building was not for them, the land they were leasing.
Yeah.
So the only thing it came down to when we looked at it, the towers and the hardware and software and the human resource. The towers that Smart have, already it is proven that even where they are side by side, they can relocate because it's the cell sites you want, right? That is onto the towers. So the figure I remember, there were 48 of them, actually 72. And they'll be able to relocate in areas, particularly in the Toledo. Most will go there. So what will happen? BTL will be giving the country as a whole a far better quality service.
What is the point though that you're getting to? Do you
The
agree with
point
the
I will
acquisition?
come down to, that's why I'm giving you just, and I'll give you the details. I'm just giving you the 4 main areas. Now, as to the human resource, they will deal with their human resource. In the first instance, you want to go, they want to deal with the severance. So they will not likely to be taking on, they won't be taking on any debts. That Smart hold, they must deal with that. So they want to clean up the liability side. So when we look at what they will be getting for what they're asking for, there lies it. To me, everything looks favorable for Smart. It will definitely be favorable. The issue is how much you're going to pay. The expert who did it, I spoke with the expert who did the valuation, but of course, not everything he can give me, the confidentiality. But he is linked with them, with Morris Stevens, who is out of Brazil.
Joe, let me ask
It's
you
not right there.
straight.
I don't know. I just
I
want to
know.
know. Then you could
I,
ask it, but that's what I'm going to finish it.
it,
So the only thing that left for us to ask, does it worth the 80 million? What they did, they had a valuation between 70 and 89. Ashcroft was asking up to about 88. They said that they compromised at 80. That is what they gave me. So
it
no,
sounds though that you're selling this idea.
I am selling it if I was a seller. I would. If
Are
I could
you
afford it, I buy it.
are you with that Northern Caucus?
No, I am with professionals. The Northern Caucus was a waste of time.
Yeah.
That's
How
what.
about
Well,
the PUC?
That's what
I,
that's what
yeah, I want
I'm
to add
asking. No,
that.
sorry, allow me to
Yeah,
challenge
but
me anything.
sum it up, Joe. Sum it up, because you've been
I don't sum it up. I am saying that BTL purchasing Smart will enhance the profitability of it tremendous.
uh,
The issue now is, well, we could debate if you want, what they will do for the first 3 years. It is then you want to know what is it that the economies of scale bring. So what you can do, tell the public For 3 years, you will not be increasing the rates. That for benefit now the consumers. The shareholders' dividend will go up. So what is it now that why we should, Mr. Chairman, we end here. What did Chamber of Commerce said why they oppose it? What did unions say why they are opposing it? What did NGOs say why they're opposing it? I haven't heard from any of them the reason, except one of them is saying they're not transparent enough. The other one is saying the UDP to me was terrible. Though this will have some serious implication for the workers and the country. Where is the evidence? So that's my position. I give an investment model. Ask me anything you want on it.
Yeah, I think that I don't have a problem with monopoly per se. What I have a problem with is having the proper disclosure. And I know you kind of wanting to present a defense that it's been valuated at 79 of the and now they or yeah 79 for Ashcroft share, I think you said, and we don't know exactly what the valuation is. They just from coming from what the seller is asking. So that is my concern. But we were talking about the method of resistance that some people were using. The unions were more concerned about a peaceful demonstration, and the opposition was more concerned about being a little bit raucous in terms of how they agitate for the government to react. And it's fine that the union wants to be peaceful, and it is perfectly in order that the opposition party chooses to be a more in your face. I'm not talking about violence or the level of violence. I'm talking about being out there and being aggressive and having the government pay attention, because in resistance movements, you will always have some level of people die in resistance.
Why you say that so flippantly?
Because it's the reality. When you, I'm not advocating that anybody die or any real violence, that any violence. I'm just saying that when you're opposing, the forces of the system will come at you, and people need to stand their grounds in making sure that their position is being heard and being acted upon.
Isn't it important first, though, to have a position? And I hear what Joe is saying, because I've heard them, and I don't think that BTL should buy smart. Let me put it that way. I have no problem with acquisition as such. I don't have no problem with a monopoly. I think it was a waste of time to even have a smart to start with. And they did it. They took the risk involved. Now they want us to bail them out. That's what I am seeing.
Are we bailing them out, though? Is it a bailout, Joe? Are we bailing out smart?
It is a bailout. It's a bailout. It's a bailout.
It is a bailout.
Joe, what did you
It's
say?
a bailout. If they want, then keep your company. Keep your company and let it fail naturally. If
correct.
That's the case.
Exactly. Or wait 10 years and sell it for $1.
Explain to me then why you say it's a bailout. Tell me why you say it's a bailout.
Is smart doing bad?
Yeah. Tell me why it's a bailout.
They're competing against. What have happened is that Smart is only surviving now because Britannia government moved all the government buildings and offices that were operating under the government, under the BTL program.
Correct. If you take that away, they fail. If you take that away, they fail.
Any opposition government, anytime that comes back, is going to move those business back, and Smart will show itself to be unprofitable. And talking about Starlink, it will make some changes, but it doesn't make changes for the average person cannot spend the $15,000 or $5,000 that it needs to have that type of connection. So it's going to, maybe call centers or some businesses like that would be able to have some features of the Starlink. And even then they will still have landlines, ISPs that are connected to Smart. They may rely on them less.
We're working more through satellites now, though.
So, Mr. Gregory, can I know when you're finished? Make me come back to you. You misunderstood me on the issues of valuation. What you said is
But
not what
make it finish first, Joe. Make it finish.
Okay,
Go ahead, Greg.
sorry.
I believe that while Starlink and those represent an erosion of some revenue for companies like Smart, it will not totally put them in the dark. It could threaten their total profitability, but it's not going to destroy
Yeah, but tell me how
telecom.
you're going to do it, man. You see, you can't be saying you and do it without you tell me how.
Oh well,
Say
it
other
will
things
do
that you're not giving
because
evidence for.
yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
happens when you get a Starlink connection? You get a direct connection to a satellite.
Correct. As
So you're
opposed to a
paying for
tower.
that direct. You're paying for that direct link.
Yes.
That link works in some infrastructure. It doesn't work in all infrastructure of telecommunication. It doesn't work for your TV. It doesn't work for streaming. It works for cellular communication between networks, between large data centers or people sitting out in
The
the
simple
in the
question I want to ask you, sorry to interrupt you.
no
Do
problem.
you say Starlink has been any threat to the point that it undermined the profitability of telecommunication as it is in this country?
It could have some erosion of capital because large.
Sorry. You have answered it. It could have some erosion. What
Yes.
percentage of erosion?
Well, I don't know because it
But it's
only
important for you to know because you cannot
let
say what it will do and use that as evidence not to do it.
But
If I
can
am
you,
telling
Joe?
no, I
Can
don't
you
know.
tell what
I don't know.
percentage?
just to try,
Because
these are the kind of things happening out there, and nobody challenging those things that they are saying because what they are saying isn't true.
no.
I
Let me just say this one point.
Sure.
Large Starlink and those systems have a large capital cost investment. Individuals, only if they're rich, will be able to afford those stat phones.
but the
Those
cost
sat
will come
phones.
down. The cost will come down eventually.
Well, it will come down. Some things always come down some, but it'll never
What
come
cost will
down.
come down?
The
The
cost of
cost of
using the phones
Starlink.
that hook up the satellite as
No,
opposed to
the
towers.
cost of Starlink will come down.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
and will
yes,
the cost of fiber optics come down?
yes,
It-
yes,
it-
yes.
Yeah.
Fiber,
Therefore,
fiber optic has
it-
come down.
given the
Fiber,
demographics of Belize, do you believe that Starlink communication into Belize will be less than fiber optics?
not immediately.
yes,
Well,
it's
you
far less
don't
than
know,
fiber optic.
you don't know, neither you know, neither I.
But you
No,
don't know
no.
either, Joe.
No, hold on, hold
We
on.
all have the right to speculate, man.
No, mama, you cannot speculate. I
We
am
can
telling you,
speculate. We
I
might
am
not be
telling
right
you,
in
I
our
consulted
speculation.
with an expert in this field, and that is what he gave.
But
And
see
it's
that
not only-
expert, that Joe, that
I am
expert.
saying to you, my
No,
brother,
hold on.
you
That,
can tell me about Starlink, but none of us are expert in Starlink. None of us are.
that expert has done a number on you, boy. They got you convinced now.
No. Hold on. Please let me correct you on this, Mr. Chairman. I am a chartered accountant. I am qualified as a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
No. Please, allow me to finish. When we have a job to do, I do a lot of investment modeling in this country, many. No, if I need engineering input, I am not an engineer. I got to get that from the engineer. If I
And you
need,
come to me, George.
if I need legal input, I am not a lawyer. I get input from the lawyer. I have the responsibility when I develop that model, which is normally with the tree, and I take it to the client. I am responsible for what the engineer.
You're saying a lot of nothing. If you go to an
If
expert,
you are saying I'm making a lot of nothing, is because you don't understand
let me say why. Let me say why.
Mr. Chairman.
Let me say why.
Tell me why.
Because if I go to an expert who is representing the company that wants me to believe what you are telling me, what do you think I'm going to get from that expert?
I went to an expert that is representing the company.
I don't know, but from the way
you say,
obviously, because from your line of reasoning now, Joe, you are trying to sell us on this idea and you're promoting it.
I am saying to you, Mr. Chairman, you are dealing with something that you are not sufficiently knowledgeable in.
Oh,
when it comes to no, hold on.
You just said you're an accountant. How are you knowledgeable in this then? How are you more knowledgeable in this than anybody else?
You are an engineer. You are civil or what? What engineer? You are civil chemical.
I smoke weed. I smoke weed.
No, hold on. Mr. Morrison.
You are an electrical engineer. I design.
Just tell me what kind, man. Just tell me.
Electrical.
No. I would have never argued with you when it comes to electrical engineering. I will
But,
respect you.
but that's what I designed, building
So that's what I'm
telecommunication
trying to tell you,
systems.
Chairman.
But
Data
no, I
center.
won't argue with you about accounting. But you are telling me you spoke to an expert, but we don't know who that expert is. We
Because I
don't know
don't
if
know
they
if
don't
you
work
have
for
to tell you.
Smart.
You don't believe me or don't.
It sounds like they work for
that,
Smart. No,
yeah,
you
if
tell
you know
us.
what the expert
Hold
told
on,
me,
hold on. Who does that expert work for that you spoke to?
I don't need to tell you who the expert works for.
Ah, I see.
No,
I
hold on.
understand. I understand.
No, hold on. Like I tell you
Uh,
something.
Bill,
We
I
are,
hope, Bill, I know.
hold on, man. Hold on. Make I finish
No,
with
no,
you.
you hold
No,
on. Bill,
I'm good. I'm good.
you all
I'm
right?
learning
All
here.
right, good. All right, good. Go
Good.
ahead, Joe.
We are affiliated with International Polaris. We have
What's a
done
Polaris?
these.
What's a Polaris?
Huh?
What's a Polaris? What's an
International
international
Polaris,
Polaris?
man, it's a big association of accounting firms in the world.
Ah, okay.
So, because of our association with them,
Right.
we did jobs already in areas that we don't have the expertise.
Right.
The valuation that was done, for example, by a local auditor is not done by the auditor. He is associated with Mark Stevens, who is out of Brazil. They did the valuation. No, you're going to tell me now.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Chairman.
If I need to get an expert in telecommunication engineer, we can find them. I can through International Polaris.
But see, you're the type.
Come on, but what's wrong with what you say? Tell me what's wrong.
No. What wrong is that?
Who
Is that you're
hired
talking?
that expert?
I was trying to tell you what I did from the investment model, what I got out of it. And that's all I was trying to do. Though you have not counted anything except to tell me that the expert that I got, you don't believe him. And you don't.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that.
So wait a second.
I didn't. I said that we don't know who this expert is and who he works for.
Do I have an obligation to tell you who he is?
You can't. You just like you tell us, we can't tell you half.
No,
of
man, because I am saying to you,
I
have no right. If you either believe me, you believe me.
No. Listen, you're older. You're content. You're been through a lot of things. We understand all of that. This has nothing to do with that. Now you're telling me there's about the evaluation of a company. That is not the issue here. It is not how much. Hold on, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish, please, for God's sake. One time, let me finish. This is not about the evaluation of the company. This is about whether we. Oh my God, can I speak, Joe? I don't interrupt you when you're speaking. You go on and on and on. I try to listen because Puna won't let me interrupt you. But here's the deal. The evaluation is not the problem here. What is the problem is taking the money and buying something that is obsolete and fledgling. And that is not fair.
But you are saying that where is the evidence that it is obsolete and whatever you call it? Tell me where is the evidence?
It's right in front of you. It's obvious.
No, you are saying that
why are they bailing
something that is obsolete.
If they were making so much money, why are they bailing out? If there's so much promise.
And that's the only reason you have to say why they are buying it, because they are making so much money. Of course they are making money. But for them, they don't want to continue it because
they don't want to continue making money. They don't want to continue making money. That's what you're saying.
Smart could never compete with BTL in this country.
So why did you guys allow it in the first place?
I am saying to you, my brother, if I, as an expert in this field, is saying to you that if Smart,
so you continue to tout
I am saying to you, if
fallacy of argument, Joe.
Joe has 1,000 customers.
It's a fallacy of argument to keep relying on authority. You throw the authority thing wrong, and it did neither here nor there.
You know why I'm getting offended by it? I giving you my expert opinion as a chartered accountant.
But this is not about accounting.
And you cannot challenge me because you are not qualified in the field.
This is not about accounting. I am not challenging your expertise. But say you speak the language well, but you don't understand it. I am not.
What I don't understand, you are no expert. You are no chartered accountant.
That is not what I am challenging.
You don't try to treat me with no contempt. I am a chartered accountant.
I am not treating you with contempt.
You are not chartered
accountant. I am not. It's neither here nor there. This is not.
I took the time out to do what I did. I took the time out to do what I did. I wanted to share it with you all tonight, and you want to object to it.
I have a right to do that, sir. I do. Just as you have a right to state what you state, I have a right to state my opinion.
Somebody else's opinion based on their professional integrity. That's what you have a right to do.
You throw that around so
I'm
loosely.
not throwing it around. I'm telling you, you should
Do
do
you
it.
understand what? Let me say
You
something.
have a respect for someone's professional integrity.
This is not about nobody's disrespecting you, sir. Nobody's disrespecting you or your qualification. I'm saying to you, this is not about accounting. Your expertise is in accounting.
It is about accounting. It has to be.
Because you make it about that.
No, it's about that. You are telling me that you don't believe in the economies of scale? You don't believe
I'm not telling you none of that. You are saying.
I am not telling you nobody that will be any right person in their mind who wants to invest in another company.
You went and
look for a doctor. You don't want to look for one doctor. You don't want to look for one lawyer.
You went and spoke to some expert. You went to speak to some expert who has convinced you that this is a good deal. Now you're coming to try and convince, and because we question you about it, you get upset.
That there were some things that I had to get from an expert, like what we do. We as chartered accountants doing investment models, when we have a certain expertise we need, then we have to go to the person who have it. No, when it comes to developing investment model, that is what we do. We are the expert in investment models. That's what chartered accountants do. Learn about the job of chartered accountants and stop the behavior.
Could I add something? Could I add something here?
Go through with some Madison. Sorry to.
Yeah. I don't think we're challenging or we're saying anything about accounting, Mr. Coy. What we're saying is that the expert that is talking, we're talking about the technology part of it. Yes, the expert may have concluded that it's a good deal, but we have not.
No, I did not say that, Mr. Morris. You said it,
Mr. No, we said that the valuation, we said he evaluated it at a certain
There was a valuation done. Yes.
Yes.
And they were done by experts. I am talking to you now about an expert in the areas of communication. So when we spoke of Starlink, I am telling you what the expert said. No, if you want to define
you spoke to two experts. You spoke to an expert.
No, hold on, man. Hold on. Please, man. That's what I'm telling you. Misunderstanding.
It's not Starlink, it's Starlink.
Come on. I said to you, one of the first things we wanted to do in developing the model is Starlink posing any threat to telecommunication in this country? The expert opinion on that field told us it will not. And he gave us figures, break it down. No, that's my position with that expert. When it comes to the valuation, I didn't do the valuation.
Well, then the Prime Minister is lying to us then, Mr.
What did the Prime Minister say?
The Prime Minister said that Starlink is a threat, and that's one of the reasons both the Prime Minister and Mr. Musa said that those are the reasons why BTL need to acquire Smart. That's what they said. Go back and look at it.
No, he did not. He did not say that. I can guarantee you that he did not say that. No, Mr. Morrison.
I will find the clip and I will send it to you.
The Prime Minister nor Mr. Musa said that Starlink is a threat. How can Starlink be a threat? That's where we have to.
He didn't say there's a threat. He said what Elon Musk is doing with Starlink is going to create issues for telecommunication companies like BTL.
So why buy? So if he didn't tell you that, why buy?
Exactly.
But I was saying he didn't.
That's why the question is being asked.
Yes, but the question being asked, I can guarantee you that he did not say that.
He did.
All right. Let that be not that, because Gregor said he has a clip. Let not be the argument.
Play the clip to say what he said. I just spoke with him yesterday.
But let's not make that the argument. That is not the argument, Joe. That is not the argument.
Why is it that we could not have talked to this thing in a professional way rather than have to going on like this? I took the effort to do what I did. I'm trying to do it. I'm going to take them one by one and ask me, well, what you think about this or that. You could differ with me, and you, the engineer, Mr. Morrison, you can say to me, well, Mr. Joe, whatever you want to call me. I think there's some merit to what you're saying, but I don't agree with that expert in Starlink. And
if I could say something quickly, for my take on this situation here, I'm looking at BTL being a majority of the shares are owned by government, which very interestingly is I worry about the social security funds that are invested in there. I don't know what the other part is. I don't know what other government shares are in there. But for me, at the end of the day, what scenario will be the best for those government shares? Will it be as it is right now, or will it be with BTL acquiring Smart? What is the best to secure that our government shares will get the best dividends.
Consolidation
The
would be the
best
best.
thing you can do, Mr. Spooner.
Sorry, say that again, Joe.
Social Security has 34% in detail. Government
Yes.
has 45%.
Okay.
That is the large
That-
majority. The rest is splintered. Now,
Okay.
what they need to know, evidently, is it going to increase the profitability of BTL? It will. Dividends will go up. Now, here is where I differed with BTL. They are saying that the dividends will go up, and they gave a percentage and they emphasize the dividends increase. I am not differing with what they are saying.
They said 200%, right? Yeah.
Right. And it is about that. It will. It must go because of the economies of scale. That's what I'm saying. No, where I define, I said that to the Prime Minister. You should not be pushing the benefits to the shareholders. What we should be doing is guarantee the consumers that the price will not go up and they'll get better quality.
So,
and then how you do it. Listen
But
to this.
you know what
Let
the
the consumers know what they will get.
So the expert you spoke to is the Prime Minister then?
No, man. Mr. Chairman.
All right. Tell me something. Why?
What we did as of the door, we are not professionals, man.
Why the eagerness to sell smart? What are the reason? If smart is making money, if smart is profitable, why sell smart? First of all, forget why BTL is buying smart. Why is smart selling smart?
Let me ask you the question.
But you answer a question with a question. No,
you are saying that smart is making money.
Yes.
Therefore, you say that why I want to sell something that is making money.
Right.
Right. Now, how many businesses do not sell what they have to buy something that they will get a better return on?
So what are they going to buy?
You are asking a question which anybody in the market, any businessman in the market, I can be making a profit on this item, and I want to sell it to buy something.
What would Smart want to buy? And what they're in
Smart
the telecommunications, what do they want to buy?
You know why? Smart will not be buying anything. 77% of the shares in Smart is in a trust. The trust.
For Michael Ashcroft.
Oh my God. You said that thing again.
I'm asking you. But it is a known fact that 77%. Wait. Who owns those 77% shares?
I am saying to you.
No. Not what you're saying to me. What I am asking you. Because you say that as if what you say after that is a fact. What you're saying to me is not necessarily a fact.
I said to you before, when it comes to limited liability companies under the Company Act in this country, anybody can go to the company registry and ask to look at any one of the companies.
Does Ashcraft have shares?
When you look at the company, it will tell you who are the shareholders.
But you're going too long, man. You can't get nowhere. No, you're not going to convince me. You're not gonna convince me. You're not gonna convince me that way, Joe.
I know I won't.
Does Ashcraft own shares in Smart?
Mr. Chairman, Ashcraft doesn't own shares in Smart.
He doesn't?
No.
All right, the thing done. We're done. Guys, we have to.
He just owns the trust that owns Smart.
Yeah. No. Let's say
that. You're agreeing with that. You're agreeing with that, Joe.
Hold on. I am telling you. That if he owns the trust that owns Smart, what that has to do with the decision that we are talking about?
Nothing.
All
Joe,
you are saying is because he owns it and he making profit, why he want to sell?
You know what?
We're assuming that the person who owns something making a profit should not want to sell it.
We're over time, and just before the producer pull the plug, Joe, I want to say thanks. I'm Bill. I'm sorry. Bill, I want to say thank you for your time. We kind of shut you out on the last one, but I hope you learned a little something from it because
I really appreciate the conversation. I learned a lot, and I want to thank you guys for inviting me and for teaching me about this BTL issue. My only issue is that monopoly is never good.
I don't know that. In certain things,
strongly.
That street is good.
That's another argument. I would say that monopoly is not good.
Light and water is good.
Let me tell you why. In any small economies, Mr. Flores, There are certain type of industries that must by nature be monopolies.
Yeah.
Belize is too small to have too many BELs. You cannot have poles all over the country to compete.
Correct.
BEL can only compete in production of the energy. They cannot compete in transmission and distribution. Can make absolutely no economic sense.
Was the
There.
same way.
So therefore, don't say that monopoly is monopoly in the United States. Even them have monopoly. They use the antitrust law to regulate it. But there are certain monopolies in smaller economies that are natural monopolies.
Which all we need then is what we need is a strong PUC. And I have been saying that I don't know where these independent thinkers are that we say we have. I don't see them. If we do, they need to step up and maybe form another political party, because the one we have ain't doing it. So,
Well,
I mean, if they're going to bring back the same old faces, I'm sorry, Gregory, to hurt your feelings on this one, but if I went to see Yellow Man, and I want to see John Sullivan, I see Julius Timbrell, and Boots Martinez, I'm sorry, you're not going to get my support. I'm not even considering them a viable alternative to what we have in place. We need an opposition, a strong opposition, something that will inspire confidence in our people.
I'd like to make a comment on that.
We need virtuous
if I were
people.
you, I would not have introduced Yellow Man and them, because that has nothing to
We
do
didn't
with
talk about Yellow Man, yeah.
buying and not to buy. Yellow Man and they have nothing to do with this.
Yeah. We need
With
virtuous.
what?
we need
Oh,
virtuous
you mean,
I
people.
yeah, all
explained to
right.
you that you made a comment just now about Yellow Man and the UDP. That is irrelevant. The
No,
issue
but I wasn't talking about the BTL. We went
sorry.
down for that. This was something
sorry, I
totally
thought you were
different.
talking about the
No,
BTL.
no, I was talking. Let me see. Why? One second. Give us 2 more minutes to just wrap this. That had nothing to do with it, Joe. That was something else. I was talking about on a position that we need in place, and that what we have there is not attractive.
We'll change the topic. All right.
Yes.
I will excuse you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Again, I hope to see you again sometime soon, bro.
And
Yes,
don't go
sir.
to the Indian restaurant. I think you gone to the Indian restaurant today.
People, see why we're done here.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
show, good show, good show.
Good show. Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Good night. Take care, guys.
As we flow,
All right,
Yeah,
CY,
man.
thank you.
Jim out the jewel. I'll
Night,
have your
Greg.
trainer throwing in the tower.
Good night, good night, good
Lineage,
night.
Good night. Good night.
Without
Good night.
the trouble.
Patriots
I'm
all
highly
the way.
decorated
man.
like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Jim out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the tower. Lineage, Masonic, without the trouble. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Don't get caught up in the diddy distraction. It's just an illusion. Fraction of the extended destruction. Like Brunson at the garden. Temporary reprieve from your problems. Mental colonization. You know, they shiesty when they weaponize religion. War infractions. Nations against nations. The Jews against the Palestinians. Russians against the Ukrainians. China, Japan, India, Pakistan, Dominicans, Haitians, Guatemaltecans, Belizeans. The elite is all about wealth distribution, world domination. I'm bringing bars with heat like beats from honor domination. Final conclusion, nuclear intervention. While in the hood, guns and sirens still blazing. Mothers in agony, screaming. YNs seeking instant gratification like Kelly streaming. Gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the tower. Lineage, Masonic, without the thrower. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the tower. Lineage, Masonic, without the thrower. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Tariffs, topics of the day. Imports, exports, ships idle on the dock of the bay. Monopoly, Wall Street, financial experts. But the consumers is the one that has to pay. Systematic design to keep us behind like they don't know. We're the ones behind. The fashion, the music, the culture, where their offsprings come to nurture, like Earth, Mother. But our journey be easier with the involvement of the Father. New World Order. Imagine coming to America and be trapped inside the border with fake friends that's like 4 quarters. They would change for $1. The rapture, brother against brother, rather side with the other. The scripture, the Bible, Cain and Abel. Judas was at the table. When I pass the graveyard, I don't whistle. Cause like most genius, I'm unstable. You existing in the zoo, I'm thriving in the jungle. Plus I just look like this. I'm deceptively efficient. My mental poison be potent. Keep that mumble rap, you incoherent. The university is on tilt. I'm building generational wealth. Pelts at the Met. If I was a swimmer, I'd be like the world record holder. Phelps. Yeah. Gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well, gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Ride as we flow. Gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well, gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Don't get caught up in the diddy distraction. It's just an illusion. Fraction of the extended destruction. Like Brunson at the garden. Temporary reprieve from your problems. Mental colonization. You know, they shiesty when they weaponize religion. War infraction. Nations against nations. The Jews against the Palestinians. Russians against the Ukrainians. China, Japan, India, Pakistan, Dominicans, Asians, Guatemaltecans, Belizeans. The elite is all about wealth distribution, world domination. I'm bringing bars with heat like beats from honor domination. Final conclusion, nuclear intervention. While in the hood, guns and sirens still blazing. Mothers in agony, screaming. YNs seeking instant gratification.